Welcome back to the Tomb of Illumination. I went to do a video and forgot what I initially was going to put into the video, so I'll just go over it now. In esoteric images, some of you might have seen the turtle, and it's mentioned in a few stories, myths and that, legends, and no one's really figured out how it's associated with anything. But all those ancient stories all boil back to the flat earth physics, flat earth design. Everything on earth represents creation in one way or another. Creation is the flat earth design. So man has his own arc of horizon. Out to his horizon, everything passes over it. Everything is all seen perpendicular off that arc back to the observer who's central, looking out from the centre of the universe, you could say. You see these flat earth sites, they're still talking about the sun diminishing or expanding when it goes down. No, forget what you think you're saying. You have to realise they all stay the same size because they're all equidistant to you. All plastered on that arc. Nothing changes in size over the day. Well, the tortoise has got its shell, right? So that you could say that's his hemisphere. And he moves along with his hemisphere. He doesn't leave it behind, nor does man. Moon moves under his hemisphere. It's his perspective of the world around him as he's moving through the earth, across the earth, around the earth, whatever. And it's also shown in the peacock. When the peacock opens its bloom, the male, all the stars and everything's all plastered in there. It's to show you the peacock's carrying the night sky with it. That's his dome of perspective. Well, what you have to imagine is you've got one turtle here and then another turtle comes along and mounts it. And it comes up like this, right? So you've got a dome here and a dome here, basically, representing the two night skies or the magnetic fields of Earth. And this is what happens with Earth. The southern hemisphere magnetic field comes up and overlays the northern hemisphere. So you could say that's the turtle shell and that's its head. That's one way to look at it. But the other way is that the shell coming up, mounting up like this, and only goes so far. It doesn't climb right on top, does it? No, goes halfway. Only goes up to Polaris, that center point, and then recedes back again. Up and back. This is completely separated, but then it comes right up to the June solstice. Complete separation is 21st of December solstice. So there's your two the tortoises and the magnetic field. What's in the magnetic field? Well, it's electromagnetic field. You've got the sun, and the tortoise. That's not the sun. That's the star. Yeah, the night sky, the magnetic field, the night sky. You can see at night anyway. But there's also the hare and the tortoise fairy tale, or whatever you want to call it. Grimshaw tales, whatever they were. Fables. Was it? Was it a fable? I can't remember. And how you had the hare and the tortoise, and the hare stuffed around and the tortoise won the race. That's what we think. We think, oh, so the moral of the story is don't stuff around or you'll lose the race. No, that's how far man's mind can go, you see. That's a perfect example. But what if you took the mind a little bit further and found out that the rabbit represented the sun, the turtle represented the stars, and off they went. And the hare raced ahead over the year. Let's say it's a year-long race. Raced ahead, raced all the way around here, and then right round there, and at the end of the race, or time actually, the sun didn't quite lap the turtle, didn't quite catch up to the night stars, and then the stars finished, or appeared to look as though they came in first. Is that not how we get the precession of the equinoxes? The sun being left behind because it didn't quite lap the stars. Stars, there's nighttime, daytime. The sun raced ahead and raced right round here, didn't quite catch the stars at the end of the year. That's the precession of the equinoxes. It creeps back every year, and each year it's been crept back. That's the precession of the equinoxes. That's the whole meaning of that story. But nobody except me, I'm the first, because I know all this stuff, to latch on. I know what it is. People just say, that's not what I mean, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, then you got Euclid's fifth postulate. That's to do with the hemisphere too. Nothing to do with parallel lines. There's something else about the about this alignment here. When these two overlay here during the Physica Piscis, at a certain time, it incorporates the 3 stars of Orion's belt. And the 3 stars of Orion's belt has the middle one here, Annulum, which is the sun, represents the sun right there, because it's to do with an alignment of the Milky Way, and the sun is in the Milky Way. At the same time as the moon is in there too. And this goes back, let's stick with the sun for a minute and then we'll get onto the moon, okay? So you take the word annulum and break it down. Annulum, etymology, represents string of pearls or arrangement. So you've got the 3 Orion's belt stars there, a string of pearls or an arrangement. So pearl, so you break down the word pearl and it comes back to leg, Latin for leg or ham of leg, ham or leg, also related to rare, valuable or great worth, because that's a very divine moment in time. It's the whole Jesus story. Very worthy, spiritual awakening of a man, and that's also coming out of Egypt, because it represents Egypt in here. It's that latitude. That's why it's connected to the pyramids. So then you break down the word leg, and it comes to bend, represents bend. And bend is to do with the sun and the Milky Way again, because the Milky Way bends out of the centre Arctic here. Bends out because it gets its energy from between the tropics here to feed in to here. And there's a bend right there. And that bend is the kneecap in the Iliad that represents the spot of the sun, or Sagittarius A, or the black hole. It's all the same thing. So then you can break down ham. Ham represents hollow or bend of the knee, crooked also the hind leg of a pig. So bend again, and it's hollow. The Milky Way is hollow because the vacuum, it sucks the energy through here. And science has discovered that a copper pipe, hollow, creates more energy than a solid bit of wire, a core, a wire, when it comes to this magnetic induction and things like that, getting electricity out of the atmosphere. They try to make out you can't get free energy because someone would have done it before. How dumb is that? How dumb is that? We know the ancients have used electricity from the atmosphere for years. Probably for hundreds, millions, whatever. They get an earthing peg and touch it with the atmosphere up here. You put a copper winding up there and then grab an earth wire and stand there and let's see if that person is going to say you can't get electricity out of the atmosphere. Why don't we get that female scientist, that physicist, talks a lot of crap, curly haired German woman. What's her name? Why don't we get her to do that? That'd be a laugh, wouldn't it, eh? There's no energy in the atmosphere, lady. Yeah, just touch this and touch this, will you? So at the end of the day, we've got leg, bend, and hollow. We've got the leg, the bend, more of a bend, not a curved banana, but it's like a boomerang sort of shape, like this. The black hole in the sun is in here, the pure plasma unseen sun. We get the image at the end of here. That's our sun. out in our created realm. And the Milky Way is hollow. The two ends come together and meet. The energy being created between the two magnetic fields here, magnetic induction or capacitance, gets fed through here. We know all this in physics, in the physical realm here on Earth. Up here in creation, it's all metaphysical. It's not physical. But you use this thing. You know how it all works. It's all written in all the ancient stories. That's where I've got all the information from. So, it's all connected to a pig's leg, eh? Pig's leg, hind leg. Hind leg. So, all you can think of is the leg and the bulge. Because the bulge represents the sun. So you can put another bulge here for the other part of the leg. The hoof. The hoof. Because there's two ends of the Milky Way. And look, it's a socket joint. And where have you seen that image? Have you seen that on the Sumerian king? His knee socket? And you've also seen, we've seen another way of drawing it. They draw the big bulging calf muscle here. That also represents it too. This bulging calf muscle. It's all to do with the Milky Way. The bulge in the Milky Way. Because all of creation comes from the Milky Way. It's the most divine of all our all the stories, religion, everything. Dreamtime stories of the Aborigines is the boomerang, Milky Way, and the Iliad, the kneecap. The Sumerian king holding the lion, he's got an elbow. Lion represents a few things: killing off your beast the old way, your old mental simple self, or Leo with the zodiac, but he's got the bend, and there's a few other things that represent the whole image. And he's got the zodiac as the watch on his hand at a certain time when the zodiac's on in Leo, the great solar eclipse, the bend for the Milky Way, all this sort of stuff. If you want to understand all this and more, jump onto my Patreon. There's no point just giving this away to the ignorant. There's a lot of people that just ignore everything I'm saying, so if you feel obliged to support me and you really want the information, you're in search of the truth, you'll want to come over. You just want to ignore all those other flat earth sites that talk a lot of rubbish, like they make out their flat earth conversation sites, but they put you down. They're all liars. They don't understand the 7 atmospheric layers of the the atmosphere. They don't understand the compaction of 7 layers below the earth. They don't understand these inert gaseous layers that through ionization change states to feed the sun up through this Milky Way. Everything gets purified as it elevates to be fed into the plasma sun, and then dropped out of here as pure water to go down into the aqueduct system to be fed back up to the earth. So while I'm here, you've got to understand it's all created here, the purification system, but it's also designed here. There's 2 ways to see it. So you compact it into this area, or you explode it and have it all brought out into sort of like going from a 2D to 3D. So you can imagine the Milky Way and everything in here, but exploded out in 3D. It's like this system here. It's tricky to explain, but I've done plenty of videos breaking all that down. Like that's the purification system in here, but at the end of the day, the purification system is in here too. Everything goes through the sun. You go through pure plasma, you get purified. Trust me. I've been over the torus field. The earthly fields overlay like this. That's how they form the sun's analemma, with overlaying and moving around. You see a lot of the site on a few flat earth sites now, and they're getting a lot of hits. Some are getting thousands of hits just in one video over the day. But for some reason, I'm shadow banned. Maybe people just like to sit there and listen to someone gabble all night about nothing. I just watched someone's site. I'm not going to say their name. I mentioned it earlier. 7,000 views in one day, and the guy sat there just talking shit all day for a couple of hours. 7,000 views. I'm lucky to get a couple of hundred. You know? And I'm the one with all the truth. Funny that, eh? No big deal though. I'll get no money from it. YouTube, it's just a waste of time. So, you know, I'm just trying to get a few people to come over and support me. If they want the divine truth, come over and support me. But, you know, that's life. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to put a like, sub and subscribe. And obviously people are sharing my information because it's all out there. And I'm getting not many people are thanking me for it.